When you need advice, come to Ben and Kelly. It's Group Therapy on 99.7 DJX.
So we got a message. Hey, Ben and Kelly, I love your show. I hear you guys talking about these group therapies, and I love it. As I'm sure many have told you, I never thought I would need to reach out myself, but here I am.
Welcome.
So I'm currently dating a great, successful girl. We're serious. I've talked about marriage and kids, the whole deal. Here's the issue. We both have dogs.
I don't see that as an issue.
I have a 7-year-old lab that I've spent a ton of time training. I've owned since she was a puppy.
Sure.
My girlfriend has a small mix that's a super food aggressive towards other dogs and in limited interactions, kids as well.
Oh, that's no good.
She actually took food from a 3-year-old at a cafe.
Oh.
So I mentioned that I'm not sure I would trust her dog with the kid, and she said that if she had to get rid of her dog, my dog has to go as well.
Oh.
She will not take the dog to training, let me discipline the dog, or even recognize that this is a problem. Now, she has said that once a kid comes along, the dog will bond, everything will be fine. But I think we need to solve this issue before kids are ever in the picture. But how do I convince her this is actually a big problem? Signed, Josh.
Well, I mean, I've never been of the, hey, let's just throw a kid into the equation and see if that makes it all better.
Yes, no, let's go ahead and put this out there right now. Kids do not save failed marriages or failing marriages, and kids will not just, make a dog a better dog.
Yeah. I'm no dog whisperer, but yeah, that is tough. And that is one of those things that when I remember my wife and I discussing getting a dog together, and we got a dog after we already had kids. So, that's a little bit different than, Josh's situation, but
you have to consider that in picking a breed, one that's going to be good with kids. Or if you're doing, adopting a rescue dog, every time that we do Wet Nose Wednesday with Megan at the Kentucky Humane Society, there are, you have to consider the dog's background, and some of the dogs are going to be better with older kids and not younger kids.
Yeah, and we took that into consideration. But then once we got and adopted the dog, actually from the Kentucky Humane Society, my dog Fiona, I spent a good 6 months training her.
Right.
And that in and of itself is important.
Yeah, I think this wouldn't even be an issue if she would just, suck it up and take the dog to training. That's really what it comes down to. Audrey says, deal breaker, I'm on team discipline. I can't stand food aggression or any type of other aggression, and absolutely will not tolerate it. I definitely wouldn't go any further in this relationship until she agrees to take her dog to obedience school.
All right. I would love to hear, especially if you are in a relationship where, you guys got together and your dogs don't like each other. So, what happened?
Right.
I'd love to hear those stories at 502-571-9970.
Angela raises a really good point. If she won't let you discipline the dog, imagine how she'll act when it comes to disciplining a child.
Maybe.
It's a good point. It's a valid concern.
All right. 502-571-9970. It is group therapy. Yeah, group therapy. Josh sent us a message, and he's in a pretty serious relationship with his girlfriend. Things are great. She's perfect. They're talking marriage, kids, except she's got a food-aggressive dog. He's got a lab that is, in his eyes, perfect. And
he's trained his dog.
And he can't get her to see that her dog is an issue.
Yes, and needs to be trained. She's kind of refusing to put the dog in training, and that is kind of the major problem. Jessica says, I had to put a dog to sleep because of food aggression. Get trained. It could injure another dog and require surgery like mine did, or possibly hurt your child. You can't take anything lightly when it comes to aggression.
Yeah, Jamie said kind of the same thing. My grandma always had a food-aggressive dog. Ever since a puppy, she thought it was just a funny little quirk. But the dog is now 10, and long story short, she bit off the end of my grandpa's finger. Yeah, food was on the ground. Another dog came up. She started to fight over the food. Grandpa tried to grab the other dog, and his dog came after him. So yeah, and it reminds me of my dad. My dad actually said same deal. Food aggressive dog. He's got a scar on his cheek because of a dog. He tried to take a bowl of Cheerios away from a dog when he was little.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, same deal.
Oh, dang. So Chase said, I mean, who hasn't snatched food from a 3-year-old at a sample chicken and J-Ball? LOL.
This is true.
But
I do it every Saturday afternoon.
I don't agree with getting rid of the dogs for kids. Train the dogs. My dog just attacked a kid on Sunday at my kid's birthday party. Now we got to get him trained. It's too late if they bite a baby. So yeah, you have to think about safety first, and maybe just, playing some of this podcast to her might, bring to light that, hey, there's a situation that could come up. You think your dog is just a harmless little angel, but, in a situation, you can't take that back. So get some training.
Look, there are a lot of people on the comments on Facebook that are like, red flag, get rid of her. Alyssa says, this may be an unpopular opinion, but I wouldn't throw in the towel just yet. I'd let her know if you haven't already in a non-confrontational manner that you're upset she won't even consider any options to remedy the situation, that this is the hill you're willing to die on before your relationship can move to the next level. Not a lot of other people are saying, hey, why don't you just get your vet to be the mediator?
Yes.
Take the dog to the vet and be like, hey, what do you suggest here? Sort of thing.
Yes, maybe, she'll listen to a professional talk about it. Maybe, she just is blowing it off with, him thinking, well, he doesn't understand. It's not that big of a deal.
And he just doesn't like my little, dog. Maybe that's a thing.
Yeah. Here's the thing too. It's also, is it showing that she's not going to have a great ability to compromise in a marriage? Mm-hmm. If she's like flat out refusing to train the dog right now, what else is she going to not be willing to negotiate on when it comes to parenting issues, marriage issues? There's going to be a lot of conflict resolution you guys are going to have to work through, as you go through your marriage. Is she going to be okay with that?
Yeah, so maybe let the vet be the moderator in this thing, and definitely I'd push for getting the dog, trained before anything else happens. All right.
Yeah. And she has to be able to recognize and listen when, he is saying this is an issue that we need to address, instead of just blowing off his opinion.
And if she doesn't, then, maybe that's
not going to bode well for a successful marriage.
I was going to say, maybe that's your answer. All right. Well, hey, keep us posted and good luck. That is group therapy.